What's up, baby dolls? Today we're going to go deep into the deep state. Roca Negra, you know who they are. Black, you know who they are, friends. We're going to go through about what's going on, the next part of humanity. And if you've been watching a lot of my like UFO deep state videos as well, you know where it's ultimately leading. And I want you to know, so it's ultimately, long term, we'll all be dead. It's ultimately leading to humans advancing civilization state. It's very obvious what it's leading to, but we can't just advance everything at once now. Why? Because we have too much testosterone. We blow each other up. Not everybody can be given a nuke. You want to kill someone, you're like, you don't like my meme coin? Come here, let me at him. You know, so that's pretty much what it comes down to. You know, we're going to go through some nice, amazing clips. It's such a wonderful video, friends. We're going to be watching it, you and I together. And I want you to know that, look, the governments and all these solutions, friends, there have been leaks throughout history where, you know, when there's a big government event, not a government event, sorry, there's a big solution that the government has. Well, there's been leakers 5, 10, 15, 20 years before that who said, oh yeah, this thing is eventually going to come. And then they've already pretty much done it. So they have the solutions on the shelf. It's just that they need the timing and the planning to be able to let the cookie crumble the way it is. Now, there's some chaotic randomness, there's some programming to it, but you know, for the most part, a lot of it is like destiny, preordained, and it is what it is. Now, where's humanity going now? Well, friends, obviously, with crypto, I want you to understand something. Crypto, we are a blockchain, fully transparent, and you can't roll back stuff. But, you know, the government want all the power. Of course, they want all the power because they have to control the humans, because if they let a lot of us run amok, then a lot of us could, I guess, in the wrong hands. If advanced weapons went into the wrong country, the wrong people, too much power, people can do their own thing, nasty things. That's what the government always believes in, right? So eventually, though, you come to this journey part where you realize that, the way humans learn, we don't actually really make stuff in our head. We don't really do that. The way we're learning is there's a network of information out there somewhere in the space. We don't know. We can't see it, okay? But we're downloading information. We're almost we're channeling it. You know, so a lot of these discoveries, friends, you want to know what's fascinating? You know, Albert Einstein discovers E equals MC squared, and Newton, a couple of these big groundbreaking formula stuff. There was someone around the world who was doing a similar thing at the same time. Different language, different everything else. They had discovered their own thing. So it's kind of like only these people, they're so forward ahead of everybody else. 1 to 3 people could actually download the information to their head, and they're like, aha, I got the answer. Okay, now once you start to learn this, it makes you think about all these world events coming in front of us, all right, Great Reset, all this other stuff that we know is 100% happening, and the end of the fiat debt Ponzi system. Once you start to see that how humans learn is we channel things, it is very possible, friends, that, that information space where we're downloading information to our brains and we're thinking of thoughts and making stuff, creativity and science and stuff. Well, we don't know who is putting the information into that space for our brains to absorb. We don't know who does that. It could be non-human intelligence, friends. It could literally be that. You know, think about that. Think about, it's like if you have a group of monkeys, right? You have a group of monkeys and you want them to eat a banana. You want them to think about eating a banana, but you can't just give them the banana straight away. So maybe what you do is you draw a cartoon banana and you put it on a TV screen in front of them. They're like, oh, look at that banana. I'm hungry now. Let me go eat the banana. You see what I mean? Well, this is obviously working in the background. I think that's pretty much what's been happening. Now, we can't test it because we're not in control. You see, we are the zoo animals and they're the zookeepers. But they have right? So we've probably been guided without us knowing over time. If we steer too much in one direction off the rail, we'll probably get guided back. And then we steer the other way, they guide us back through. Now, the next thing that's going to come, friends, into society is obviously is crypto, AI merging, and there'll be identities. We're going to have digital identities, and there's going to be the CBDC and all these other stuff that you get to see, right? Donald Trump says, oh, I don't like the CBDC. They go, pew, all right? So this video is actually quite amazing, friends. We're actually going to listen to it together. Let's go.
They have essentially said that this is the only way, this will be the only way to prove you have legal identity. And so if you don't participate in that system, as far as the state or the private sector is concerned, you don't exist. So by not participating in that system, you're inherently excluded from the economic system and really essentially everything. It's going to be a problem, reaction, solution type of situation where they've already made the solution. They've already developed what they want to be the new financial governance system after this new Bretton Woods moment. They just need some sort of big event on the scale of World War II or some large event that's equally disruptive in order to be like, all right, now it's time for a new financial governance system.
About a year ago, while speaking at the Global Finance Summit in Paris, French President Emmanuel Macron said the world needs a public financial shock to fight global warming. Around the same time, World Economic Forum founder and executive chairman Klaus Schwab also made a similar statement about revamping the global economy. In his words, every country from the United States to China must participate, and every industry from oil and gas to tech must be transformed. We need a great reset of capitalism, Schwab added in an article published on the non-governmental organization's website. According to popular investigative journalist Whitney Webb, what we are witnessing is the birth of a new international monetary system, a replacement for the current Bretton Woods system built solely on the blockchain to aid the complete surveillance and censorship of every aspect of our lives. Whitney's warnings are based on the words of several global elites and WEF puppets like Macron, as well as the words of Mark Carney, former governor of the Bank of England and Bank of Canada, and the UN Special Envoy for Climate Action and Finance, who said the three pillars of the New World Order are digital IDs, CBDCs, and ESG.
So, friends, as you see now, when we say politicians are puppets, I really do mean that. They are puppets. But I don't think, obviously we're just guessing, man, once again, we're just speculating, but after thousands and thousands and thousands of hours of reading material, watching material, putting all the pieces of the puzzle together, if they even fit, I don't think this room of cabal people, I don't think they're all human, man. I literally don't think, I know we joke they're not human. No, I actually don't think they're all human. And if they are human, I don't think they're all themselves. Okay. Now, I should make more videos of these, friends, but there have been times in history where there's been a UFO sighting, and then a government agent has come out to the public and said, it's nothing, you're all going crazy, move along, people, this did not happen. In one case, the government agent, okay, the public spokesman, he admits like, years later, he goes, oh, just to let you guys know, that wasn't actually me talking. Now, he says, I was in like a state of trance, which is funny, a state of trance, right? Trance music. But he says, I was actually like in a trance. So basically, he was admitting something was making me say those words. I had no control. I was just saying it, being programmed. Now, obviously, you connect the pieces of the puzzle, friends. It's literally like, if we had a neurotransmitter that we could transmit information to monkeys, and we're the zookeepers, and we have a little bunch of monkeys, we're like, hey, let's go tell the monkeys to stop fighting. So send one of the monkeys out, maybe the king of the monkey, and go, hey, they're scratching their underarms and stuff. They're like, hey, stop throwing poop at all the people. Stop throwing poop at all these other, the non-monkeys out there through the cage, and eat your bananas. And everyone's like, oh, okay, yeah, we should do that. You see? So that's how I'm thinking a lot of this happens. So when you're seeing a lot of these people out here, friends, a lot of them we call it a deep state. Yeah, when we say like they're evil, the word good and evil, it's relative, but also they could literally just be channeling some information from somewhere else. Now, obviously, it's literally impossible to prove. How do you even know you're being channeled good information to help people? You don't know that. It's literally outside of your control. You have no idea. You're being brainwashed, pretty much. Not even brainwashed. It's like it's literally complete. You're under control, and you don't know, friends. That's the thing. They don't know that they are being controlled. They think. See, you saw with Macron and Klaus Schwab. For all we know, friends, they start off as normal humans like the rest of us. It's just that them being in the position of power, they're the ones who get targeted by however the NHI, non-human intelligence. That's the new alien words, right? Non-human intelligence. They get targeted, and they're like, okay, this is the guy that I've got to get everybody to talk to and listen to. You see, so once you start to see the lens like that, you go, oh, it really is like a show. It really is like some sort of simulation. Everyone kind of is being talked into stuff. And as you get further down the line, we're just saying, okay, there's always a plan for what comes next, okay? So I'm going to show you the next part. So the next part is going to be around Roca Negra and the digital ID. Because remember, friends, if they have the digital ID, they can track everything you do, right? Remember, friends, I know it sounds like crazy, evil, spooky, but if you think about this from literally instead of like our short lives, think of it like 100,000 year time frame. So that's why it blows most people's minds, because most people think only like in the next 5 minutes. They can't possibly imagine that humans used to live longer. Might be true, right? We have the shortened telomeres now. That one, or two, there's life elsewhere, or there's interdimensional stuff. They can't even think like, it's not possible, right? Because they're learning everything from the TV, and the TV's got to keep everybody mind numb. And so, but when you're having that perspective, like, okay, if we're trying to advance civilization, they have to do it as like smoothly as possible without basically shaking the tree too much. Okay, and when they do shake the tree too much, you get someone like Donald Trump appearing, who's like a bull in the china shop. Then they have to back off for a bit, just so that dies down, and they slowly introduce stuff again. But ultimately, at the end of the day, what can you and I do? We're still programmed with the same dopamine. We have feelings and emotions. We have these things. We're still in the rat race, okay? So we're still here to win, okay, ultimately, at the end of the day. So let's continue.
Video.
In this context, I think the digital ID is a key enabler of the surveillance, knowing what everyone is doing at the transactional level, and being able to tweak that micromanagement based on a person's activity, because the digital ID isn't just limited to the financial system, right? It's like your travel, your health history, your career history, your education credentials, your access to telecommunications, social media, the internet. With the new AI era, right, they can fuse all the data, analyze it, and depending on how they develop that AI algorithm, use it to control people really in unprecedented ways. I think the digital ID and the CBDC and its private sector equivalence project is something that we're always sort of intended to be the same system. So there's documents from the UN, from the BIS, and in related groups that are sort of that have been working on this for years, that essentially frame one as essential to the other, using words about, this is inclusionary, the whole marketing behind digital ID is that everyone needs a legal ID, because otherwise they're unable to access essential services, right? And so the idea is we all have to be included in the system, and they directly link that to the concept of financial inclusion and banking the unbanked, which you brought up earlier. But inherently, these systems actually function in an exclusionary way, based on how they've been set up. They have essentially said that this will be the only way to prove you have legal identity. And so if you don't participate in that system, as far as the state or the private sector is concerned, you don't exist. So by not participating in that system, you're inherently excluded from the economic system and really essentially everything.
So there you go, friends. You're saying once you are excluded from the economic system, you don't really have any leg to stand on, really. You kind of just get ushered out. So it really is a futile game. That's pretty much what it comes down to. Now, of course, we always say crypto is the life raft to kind of make these transition period like smoother over time. Just to also let you know, friends, there's all these other things chemically going on with us, like our testosterone levels have been dropping for the past 100 years. Everything just slowly goes down. And it's how do you interpret all of these? It is happening whether we like it or not. We're here to speculate, man. It's a game. Okay, we're going to play a game. All right, sweet. Well, I don't really like the idea of me joining the rest of the rats as the ship is sinking in that fiat debt system that's going to collapse. I want to be in the scarce asset stuff, so everybody can come in, and basically because there will be some sort of panic attack mode. That's what Bitcoin whole intention was. Okay, let's make something for everyone else, So that's pretty much what it comes down to. And if you don't take this seriously, you're still in the fiat system. Okay, so that's what it comes down to. If you are of this perspective where you're like fully myopic, like we're all dead anyway, and who cares? That's most of the population. That's the sheep. That's how most people think. They think, well, we're all dead anyway, and I guess for the greater good. Well, that's how they think. So no one's forcing anybody to do anything, but we have this fiery spirit inside ourselves to try. It is what it is. Like, here's another way, friends. That's why I really do think the best way to think about all of this is a video game. It's literally a game. It's a simulation. Now, what I mean by that? What I mean by that is, well, look at the World Cup. Argentina. Are they the greatest sports team of all time? Are they the best team to win every single World Cup? No. They just won the last one. Okay, in 4 years they play again. Let's see who wins. You see what I mean? Well, it's the same thing with what we're doing. There's like these epochs of like, okay, how much is like, you know, like the government puppet, the deep state stuff? Is it the people's way or the deep state's way? Where's it swinging? Where's it shifting? That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to basically do the best we can at the game. That is, I think, the best perspective, because when we win, we've won a battle. We know we haven't won the war. So you do celebrate in these moments, but eventually you do know how it ultimately ends. But it gives you another perspective, right? It does. So this fiat debt Ponzi system, they last, 50 to 70 years. We're actually right at the end of it for the US dollar. And then it's going to move on to something else. But how is it going to move on to something else, friends? They're going to do some sort of rebasing. That's it. Like I said, instead of the old trashy junky dollar, now you're going to get the new friendship dollar. Shiny, new, sparkles. It has an ID attached to it. You get, and friends, it's so easy. Look how easy it is to get people to buy celebrity meme coins. Just a celebrity says, I like this. That's it. Well, they're going to pay all the government puppets on the payrolls. They say, oh, I like the new digital dollar. And then they'll just slowly up the ante over time. Firstly, people are just going to join it because it's new. Okay, that's it. It's just like, people try everything because it's new. Yeah, some people blow themselves up in the process. And then, okay, so not everyone's joining. All right, next phase. Let's get more popular people to tell them to join. Right, let's get movie stars. Okay, let's get a sports star 6 months later. Not even. Let's put it in a movie. That's what they start doing. Let's make a movie and let's go to one of the Hollywood movies. Let's get Steven Spielberg or any of the other movie directors to incorporate this like new digital dollar, digital ID thing into the movie. Let's do that. Okay, then they get even more people in. And then finally at the end, they're like, hey, we'll give you a $200 stimulus if you join. And everyone's joining it. $200! Golly gee! Everyone's on TikTok generation, man. They can't think 15 seconds ahead. So I've just literally laid out in my whole mind how they just get everyone on. There you go. And then, by the way, where are we going to talk about the bad ramifications of this? Twitter? What, you mean like there's literally 58 TV channels brainwashing that this thing is good. So you get to see, friends. So, I'm not talking to you from like a myopic, dark view of the world. It's like, okay, it is so easily done. It is already pre-programmed in. It will happen. But also, why is it happening? Why is it happening, friends? Because the debt fiat Ponzi system, that's imploding. Okay, we've got to move on to the next step, the digital ID stuff. Okay, they need blockchain. They got to watch everybody on the chain. Internet money, number one. And number two, they got to kill the old system first. Okay, that's pretty much it. They already have the solution, the CBD stuff. They have the solution. Now they have to kill the system first. That's why everyone's speculating. How do they kill the system? What does it look like? Well, that's why it kills the system that's why they're trying to, they don't want to kill the system too fast. They have to escape themselves first out of the ship before they let it sink. That's why everyone's thinking, maybe Bitcoin just ends up and just flushes up to $10 million, but they probably reprice to a new system and make everybody change the charts for the new dollar. You see, that's where we're all going now. If a lot of this, it is uncertain and stuff over time, but that's why you're early. That's the most important part. Let's continue from this gentle lady, Whitney.
I would say that seems to suggest that perhaps, this is the it's going to be a problem reaction solution type of situation where they've already made the solution. They've already developed what they want to be the new financial governance system after this new Bretton Woods moment. They just need some sort of big event on the scale of World War II or some large event that's equally disruptive in order to be like, all right, now it's time for a new financial governance system after this big event like they did after World War II.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think the thing that's so interesting about this like debt bubble exploding is that when you know that the debt bubble is going to explode and you want to explode it into the new system, the way that you sort of trigger that into the system that you want to get the masses to go with you is you actually want to have the most debt obligations on the record, like on the board, so that when the system pops, they'll all pop. When the debt bubble...
What does that mean, friends? The most debt obligations, that means more QE, more money printing. More debt. Why? Because all the insiders, the Cantillon effect, they got the printed money first. they go buy the scarce assets first. You see? So it's like, I want to borrow $1 trillion, like this extreme example, right? I want to borrow $1 trillion, and the government, US government goes, okay, we'll print you $1 trillion, and then you go and take your trillion and go, okay, let me go buy some Bitcoin, some Ethereum, some shit coins for that $1 trillion. You pump the price up like a crap load. You have the scarce assets now, but you now have added $1 trillion to their balance sheet. And now you owe them $1 trillion. And they're like, hey, can you pay us back the trillion? You go, what trillion? What trillion? I'm just the guy in a helicopter hat. I don't know what you're talking about. Now, that's how it all ends. But here's the thing. Okay, you didn't get the trillion. I didn't get the trillion. The insiders get the trillion. Okay? The families who we're not going to talk about, they already own a lot of the scarce property. They already own, friends. They control, they own the stuff. Yeah, they own the whole market. They own everything. Of course they own everything. 200 top family members, all those insiders, all those puppets. But you and I, we don't need to be that top 0.00001% at the very top. We'll never get there. They'll kill us before we even tried to enter near there. And you don't really need that, right? Because you got your friends, you got your family, and you got a helicopter hat, hopefully, that's coming your way as well to spin.
Only this won't be a nice crisis. It will be the complete collapse of the entire global financial system. A large percentage of the global population, honest everyday workers, fathers, mothers, and people with aging parents and relatives will be completely devastated, while the 1% of the 1% gain everything. Whitney believes the crisis will be on the same scale as, if not worse, than the economic devastation of the Second World War.
Now, this is where we're just guessing again. Like, just to let you guys know as well, if you have a big debt, there's 2 ways to pay off the debt. 1, pay off the debt. 2, kill the guy who you owe money to. So that's it. It's true. That's war. Hey, we have a debt. Or we just spend, a bit of extra money and just literally just roll in over your city. We don't owe your debt anymore. So that's one option. We don't know, friends. A lot of these uncertainties. But look, when they say the end of the system, it's uncertain. Yeah, there'll probably be a crash. But a crash from where? Maybe the stock market is 2x higher and then drops 50% in a big capitulation and then it comes back up. You know what I mean? That's one possibility. But also, if the stock market's up 2x higher, we're hoping crypto's like 20x higher. That's what we're expecting, hoping, praying. So we don't have all these answers, and a lot of that is the chaotic randomness of people and humans and all these things. But we know the events are pre-programmed. You just don't know people's reactions all the time. So even if you go down to a deeper religious aspect, some say, well, God has given you free will. That's another thing to think about. One of the gentle friends in the comment section said, one of Elon Musk's messages, he goes, we're in a simulation. And how you know that, friends, is, when we make a video game, that's why life is like a game. It really is a game. If you assume any rate of progress, like 0.00001% of progress, eventually you hit a full-blown consciousness simulation. That's it. Just assume any rate of progress. It doesn't have to be 2% good per year, 2% good per decade. No, it could be 2% good every 1,000 years. It doesn't matter. You eventually, the video games are getting more and more realistic. It used to be Pong, and then 2D, Super Nintendo, Zelda, Mario. Then we have like HD stuff. You know what I mean? Now we're getting more and more closer. So we're getting closer to the reality, and then it just plugs in. You basically just Matrix stuff. It's indistinguishable. People within there, if we know how to put consciousness, people in the system, they don't even know they're in part of a game. It's like probably where we are right now. Maybe Matrix, friends. Maybe the Matrix movie. And we'll talk about channeling, but it's very possible. The people who wrote the Matrix movie, those 2 dudes, yeah, they could have been channeling something where it's kind of like a message from above. That's why Max Kaiser refers to Bitcoin as a divine intervention. It's a divine thing where he believes that Satoshi was like given the answers to put all the pieces together and like basically bring it out for humanity. This is your life raft, So there are different interpretations to all of these. Everyone has their own little twist because they're humans, man. We throw language on stuff, Is it tomato sauce or tomato sauce? Right? Tomato. I don't know. Okay, so just giving you an example. All right? Is it mashed potato puree or do you want a bit of solid, but a baked potato? You see what I mean? Sweet and potato. That's what it comes down to. All right? Let's go back to our friend Whitney.
Ambition there to develop new asset classes that can be used to basically fuel their existing business model and perpetuate it for millennia forward. Mm-hmm. So one of these that, I've been writing about for.
Just to tell you, see, she can't even comprehend that. She's like, oh yeah, this new asset class, they want to fulfill whatever they can do for the next millennia. That's 100 years. No one lives 100 years. These people are out. Friends, you know what's funny? Just when I had this epiphany one day, I was like, there has to be non-human intelligence in our government. There has to be. Because how can humans be planning like century-long plan stuff when our freaking emotions change so often? There is a consistent thing that's actually sticking by to progress humanity like this over such a long period of time. Because when you see the age of the guys who are always running the show, they're like 65 plus. You know what I mean? They're out in 20 years tops. They're literally dead. Then how come there's another one who replaces them over and over and over again? How come? Let me give you another example. You know, in families, friends, this is interesting. In families, you only got a few people to manage. You know, there's wife, you got your kids, whatever. But you and I, we don't have any multi-generational hand-down life lessons or plans for anything, do we? From even like your great-great-great-grandparents, you don't know what they were doing. Most people don't know what they're doing. Okay, you have to literally go out of your way to track all that stuff. And look at the small amount of people. You see, it's so easy to track those people. There's not many to track of. How come in a government, when there's like more people, more languages, more money, more uncertainty, wars and all these, how come society just has like this 300-year plan to like keep moving forward? Why? Something's going on in the background, okay? And it's obviously, it's leading us towards advancing civilization. It's just that we're moving at a turtle's pace because you and I interpret time in a very, very slow way compared to, I guess, if you're traveling at light speed throughout the universe or whatever. So if we could like fast forward 100,000 years, oh, it was so obvious. Look how fast it is. I guess 100,000 years is nothing in the grand scheme of like, 20 billion, but that's pretty much what it comes down to, right? So once you start to see things like that, you go, oh, I know where we are. I can't escape the system. I can't destroy this system. I can't even make it all the way to the top. Because think about this, friends. This is why you never really want to make it to the top as a politician. Because now that you kind of like, you suspect this, the higher up you go, the more powerful you are, you become more of a puppet, right? You just get fed more instructions to tell people. So it's not even you. It's not you. Doesn't that explain so many of these politicians? They say one thing, then they get into power, and they're like, oh, we've got to actually change all that stuff. Can't actually do a lot of these things. That's too politically. So we use the guys like, oh, the people will rile up too much. Yeah, it could be someone else controlling them, man. Imagine there was a monkey. A monkey was being elected as like chief of the banana council. And he's like, when I'm elected, we're going to go around all these other humans and we're going to go steal all their bananas and their apples from their apple trees in their backyards. But then they get into the power and then you have a neurotransmitter in one of the monkeys. And you're like, okay, how about we remove the targeting the human banana tree part? Let's just grow more of our own banana trees. All right, let's just go to another part of the forest or jungle and grab more bananas instead of going for the humans part. Let's just do that part. You see? And the little monkeys who are asked, like, hey, what happened to the idea? We're going to go on that journey. We're like, what did I say? Anyway, see that? So it makes sense how that all happens, friends. But there's a lot of chaotic randomness, but also humans have free will. But then it's crazy because as you get more powerful, it's like you don't have as much free will anymore. It's like you have less free will. It's like as you get more powerful, where you control, you can like speak and a lot of people follow you. It's almost like you now become a target to be controlled yourself. Okay, so a lot of these concepts, it's it's interesting, friends. Every time we go through a video like this, and it is wonderful to see for everyone. Someone always, one of you guys and girls, as pups and squirrels, always bring me another video, or they're like, or you show me like an ancient text, or like, oh yeah, ancient Indians 3,000 years ago were talking exactly about you were talking. Literally, this thing is just all older than time for humans, pretty much. All these concepts I'm talking about. It's just that our words in our lexicon and how we describe them, it's different every time, Like everybody has a different word for evil in each language. Is it good or is it evil? Is it yin, is it yang? Is it the white? Is it the black? Is it the up? Is it the down? Whatever it is, or opposing forces. It just depends how you interpret all these. But ultimately, friends, when you see videos like this and Whitney and everything, you know, ultimately what it's coming down to, there's already a solution. They got to get us on the CBDC. They have to do more of this micromanaging stuff. And there's going to be some chaotic stuff and things along the way. We know that. And like, let's hope, let's pray that the chaotic part is crypto pumping up to the moon. That's what we want. Because, you know, see, we can see it coming, but when you're a government politician, friends, especially like you're like, the next 40 years is going to be fine. What's this little crypto stuff? So they don't take it as seriously. But look what they did to gold. Gold is now 16 trillion market cap. Crypto's only 2 trillion. Maybe crypto becomes an issue when we are 10 trillion plus, just like gold was, okay? So you've learned a lot today. And this is ultimately where we're going, man. Is that 4-year cycle, we're heading towards this stuff. And like, we know, man, we know, okay, just know where you are. That's it. Know where you are. This is our circle of competence, our ability. We know we can't escape it completely. You know you can't. But also, I'm not going to be with the rats, man. I really feel like a sucker being there. And so do you. You really feel like a sucker in there. You know, they're printing 5% of the money supply every year, and they're paying out to the workers 3%. That 2% every year, that's being they're robbing the treasury of the purchasing power of fiat, and they're buying all the assets, friends. You have Rocca Negra here, Bitcoin Spot ETF, all these. You know all of it's happening in the background. It happens like so slow that people like that, they don't believe enough, but you have to really believe these long-term vision. That's why, you know, man, the shorter your time frame, friends, you have a 50-50 win rate on stuff. 50-50, flipping a coin, okay? But we just got one vision, which is, you know, 20-year vision, 20-year crypto vision, right? Doesn't mean like go own every altcoin for 20 years, but you know what I mean? Like 20 years, crypto's the way, crypto's the future, until we get big enough where they're going to try to take us down. Let's get to that point first. Like, subscribe, belly button, and all. This is your friend Simon. Catch you in the next one.